Wake up.
I blinked, trying to make sense of what was happening. My body begged me to surrender back into painless sleep.
Wake up!
The boy finally came back into focus, standing above me. His narrow eyes were dilated, and his lips were curled into a snarl. He held my father's machete, placing the blade to my throat once he could tell I was awake. I realized I was on the floor of a barn stall. I futilely tried to crawl away as he placed a large boot on my stomach, pinning me down.
I don't want to kill you, you know. But you shouldn't have been out there, kid. You had no right.
My jaw wouldn't open. I had no words anyways, only fear and regret.
You can't stay with them pretty girls you found. You'll ruin everything I've done for them. No. That just won't do. You'll be staying here,
He said, gesturing around the barn. I couldn't think of any place I would like to be less. I wondered if I would ever be discovered. I thought of my poor mother, never knowing what had happened to her only son, left all alone in the world. My tears fell onto the filthy floor. I resigned myself to a gruesome fate. The boy picked the machete up over his head, glaring down at me indifferently.
Hi.
The sudden call froze us both. In anticipation of the blade slicing through my body, it took me a few seconds to recognize who had spoken. The boy looked away from me, lowered the machete slightly. He looked terrified.
Hi.
Mira called again, from somewhere outside. The killer turned, vaguely wielding the machete at whoever was speaking.
Who's there?
I noticed his voice had gone up in pitch. Seizing the opportunity, I slithered towards a shovel that was propped against the back wall. He still had his back to me, looking out into the night.
Show yourself!
Swiping the machete through the air.
Hi.
I had a grip on the shovel's handle now. My whole body was quivering, exhausted and terror-stricken. I knew I would never get another chance. With the last of my strength, I rose from the floor, using my momentum to propel myself at the boy. He turned just as I closed the distance between us, swinging the blade down as I jabbed the pointed shovel into his throat. We fell to the floor, his head slammed off the concrete with a sickening crack. I rolled off of him, reaching for the machete that he still held. His limp hand didn't resist as I pried it loose. I looked down at him, watching as a pool of blood formed under him, his eyes staring up blankly. Only then did I feel the searing pain in my bicep. My entire arm was dripping with blood. I knew the cut was deep. I didn't dare look at it as I hurriedly removed my belt and tied a tourniquet. Mira was there now, chattering frantically at my feet. My injuries were too severe. I was losing too much blood. There was no way I could make it out to safety. I found myself walking in the dark. Mira was on my shoulder, her beak digging into my skin, directing me and trying to keep me awake. I couldn't recognize any of my surroundings. I couldn't see anything in front of me. Somehow I kept moving, my body on autopilot, as Mira guided me through the blackened trees. Eventually, I felt the ground change under my feet. The forest floor was replaced by smooth pavement. Street lights flooded my vision, only they were moving at me much too quickly. I heard people shouting, confusion and worry in the vague voices around me. Then someone was grabbing me, holding my arms and legs off the ground. I was flying. I knew I had died, knew I was a spirit now, floating through time and space. I awoke 2 days later with my jaw wired shut and over 200 stitches holding my arm together. I had a severe concussion, broken fingers, broken ribs, and a cracked collarbone. I had nearly died of blood loss and dehydration. The stunned couple whose car I walked in front of had saved me. It was by luck that the woman was an EMT, and we hadn't been very far from the emergency hospital. Once I had recovered a while, I was given more information about the killer. The boy, I won't reveal his name here, had murdered his entire family weeks before. Their corpses were found inside the barn I was taken to. His victims totaled 8. His motives never fully understood. Police found detailed plans for the rest of his intended victims inside the house. All in all, I may have saved up to 12 girls from a similar fate. His death weighed heavy on my mind for a long time. If I hadn't decided to be a vigilante, he might still be alive. To this day, I am ashamed that I didn't bring the girl's eye to the police. I can only wonder if they would have found the bodies without Mira's help. Mira flew straight home after I was found in the road, arriving at the living room window a minute before the phone rang, and the police informed my mother that I was in the hospital. When I hadn't come home that night, she had reported me missing. I may never live down the guilt I feel for the terror I put her through. The 3 of us have mostly recovered from these events. We support each other through the difficult days. We enjoy the beauty of nature and live our blissful moments to the fullest. We all persevere, for we are survivors.